What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. My name's John Pappas, and welcome to TalkdaTalk podcast, another episode 7. We just want to thank all the people that have been watching and subscribing, and we want to encourage you to go to YouTube or Facebook and just join the family as we goof around about the news and we talk a little seriously, on some topics or whatever. Today, I am once again flying solo because if you didn't know, my good friend Steve and the main co-host of this show, his sister died the day we did the podcast last week, and so they're preparing for that funeral and getting family together. And it's a little more difficult in this COVID season, so I want to ask you to continue to pray for him and his family. His sister did have children, and you can definitely know that they're going to be Mary Beth is going to be completely missed. And so it's a hard time for him. So he planned on being here, but some things came up with the family where he had to go attend to those things. So let's just keep him in our prayers. All right. Well, we have a busy week again this week, man. I thought, oh man, am I going to be able to do this show without Steve? But unfortunately, there's always news, isn't there? And there's always some crazy stuff happening. So I'm going to, talk a little bit. Today's topics are going to be about the new Captain America, about Cardi B's performance on the Grammys. What the F? WAP. And we're going to talk about the longest 15 days of our lives, which has ended up being a year, which is, 15 days to stop the spread has now been over a year. And I'm going to do my top 5 Cardi B jokes tonight. And we'll talk a little bit about Biden, and we'll get out of here. How about that? So I don't know about you guys, but it's a rainy day here in old Northwest Indiana, and it makes my bones cold as I get old. But thank God there's enough stuff to talk about where we can warm ourselves over some jokes. So, me and Steve used to talk, and we used to we do talk, you know what I'm saying? And we used to say, my goodness, commercials are sincerely changing since we grew up. In fact, have you noticed that there's a lot of agenda being pushed in the commercials before us? Now, this isn't to pick on one particular group, but if everything is everything that is normal, then why do we have to push anything at all on everybody? And if we're in a free society, I got a question. Why do we have to have anything imposed on our will for us to, quote, live up to the political correctness of our day? Why is the imposition of those values being placed on us? And why I say that is, we would joke around, Steve and I, if Happy Days, if you're old enough to remember Happy Days was on the news, he would say Fonzie would be gay. And we would laugh, and, that's probably true, and that kind of stuff. And that's not to say we hate homosexual people or any of that kind of stuff. We're just saying there's an imposition of certain lifestyles and certain beliefs about lifestyles that are being placed on America through every medium that is out there. And so what I find sort of crazy is this sexual conversation that is happening, an identity conversation that is happening throughout America is literally being imposed not only just on us as adults, but would you agree that you got to be careful about what you turn on TV? The other day I'm watching a Kohl's shower commercial, I think it was, and there's a transgender in the shower. There's 2 gay guys rubbing soap, or whatever, holding hands, and then of course, the interracial marriage. Now, whatever. I don't hold any grudges against anybody. Anybody standing in front of me, I'm going to respect them, and I do believe everybody should have rights as Americans. It doesn't mean we get the same rights as married couples. I'll just be honest. I don't believe they're I believe in same-sex marriage. So there you go. I'm crazy like that. For the since Earth's creation, that's what it was. And all of a sudden, we in America are going to change it and everything's going to be just fine. Now, why I'm getting into this is not to pick on a particular group, but I do think that it can't be that natural if you have to impose values on people. You know what I'm saying? Like values are sort of discovered, not made up. And that's the way truth is. We discovered 2 + 2 was 4. We didn't make it up. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 + 2 = 4 in any universe, whether the earth exists or not, man. It's just it's a universal truth. It's an absolute. So anyway, I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to start the show today. Did you know, and this is affecting our children, and that's why I bring it up today. Did you know that Captain America will now be gay? They just came out on Comics XF, and hopefully you're watching this show and you can see he sort of looks like a mad punk rock skateboarder. But we have Meet Aaron Fisher, the Captain America of the Railways, a new queer shield bearer of the United States of Captain America. So now we can't even turn on our superheroes. One of them or some of them, or maybe who knows, all of them will have to be gay. For what reasons? They can't just be superheroes. They are superheroes. You get what I'm saying? And can you imagine? Like, we can't, what is he going to say to Thor? Like, wow, Thor, look at that hammer you got there. I mean, he's like, oh, steal my thunder. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on here? Why do we have to impose this on our superheroes to make it, quote, normalized? Is it normalized? I don't know, man. Like, why can't we just have Captain America? And so I don't know why this has to be instilled into things that children will watch, or children will, I guess, look up to, but that's what it is. And so let me read you the sort of the press clip, and this is found in the New York Daily News. You can find this. It's called Marvel Comics to Introduce Gay Captain America in a New Series. And this is from a couple days ago. It says, Marvel Comics is celebrating the 80th anniversary of Captain America with a gay teen superhero. The publishing company said that in the press that it is the newest hero, and Aaron Fisher is making his new debate in June 2nd. He'll be featured in a limited series titled The United States of Captain America. So there he is. And so what they're saying is the series will feature the original Captain America, Steve Rogers, handing off the baton. And I don't know, I don't want to see that baton. You know what I mean? And it will also feature old Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson and John Walker traveling across America together to find his stolen shield. You know what I mean? So this is a whole new way of saying, hey, I got your back, when they go into war against the evils of the Avengers. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it says Aaron is inspired by heroes of the queer community, activist leaders of everyday folks pushing, there's the key word, for a better life. He stands for the oppressed and forgotten. So it's not enough like China's trying to take over the world and threatening us, and is now have a better, I don't know if you've been following any of that. It's not enough that China is, that is taking over as a world power, and we're over in America talking about this crap. It's just amazing to me as we watch our culture fall. And it's really weird. Like, a lot of our policies are pushing towards like communist, socialist kinds of things. And this is what we're talking about. I'll guarantee you the Chinese don't think of any of this stuff. They don't care about our broken feelings, our political correctness. They don't care about any of that. They wake up every day trying to outdo us in America, and this is the things we waste our time on. And is this necessary? Absolutely not. Is it needed for our children? No. We have to stop imposing values and political activist agenda on people and allow us to be free. That it is insane. So I'm just like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. Just so you know, in case you were wondering, because I was, because it's not enough that he's queer. We have to know what gender he is. So he's not a male, if you didn't know. He's a cisgender male, people. He's a gay cisgender male. So in case you didn't know that, because there's so many identities out there, which is a load of crap, I would love to do a special, I don't know, maybe I'll do it later on in the podcast about where they're getting this stuff and what's going on with all that. But here it is, more propaganda sent to our kids, and this comic's going to come out in June 2nd, so I'm going to keep my eye on that, and we'll just see how old Captain America and Bucky do as they save the world to look for their shield. I'm going to be shielding this from my kids' eyes, but whatever. So there it is, man. An agenda always put forth. Who knows? I'll guarantee you they'll do a Netflix special. I'm going to call it right now. Netflix will do a special on this crazy ass agenda that's being put forth and shoved down the America's throat. You can't turn on anything without that agenda being put on there, and it's why we need an alternative form of media in the universe that we live in. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving some money over to the old Ben Shapiro Daily Wire, because they're making movies, and the last movie they made were amazing, and they're going to try to give us an alternative with alternative values that aren't shoved down our throat. You know what I mean? So you can actually use your intelligence to sift through this stuff instead of it being just put out there right up front. Well, that isn't, if that's not crazy enough, and that's pretty crazy, is it not? Did you know that it was the Grammys this week? And I don't know if you've seen the Grammys this week, but I was shocked. And just so you know, I'm going to show something on the screen right now. Let me find it right here. I think I have it on here. If not, I'll put it on here right now. Let's do it. There it is. So I just put something on the screen right now, and this is going to be totally offensive to everybody who sees it. Matter of fact, this might trigger you to, start a fight at Walmart or something. But here it is. What this is, that is the Chinese man in the Dr. Seuss books that is causing so much commotion. Now, they want to take it out, fine, whatever, right? But that is offensive to America. I'm making this point. This is offensive to America, so much so we cannot let our children even see this. We don't want them to grow up in this. We need to, just have some camps or something to get the Trump out of them and the Dr. Seuss out of them. And this is the Chinese guy that is causing so much controversy in the now canceled Dr. Seuss books. And I know it was a self-cancellation, whatever. And, whatever. I guess we don't want to offend people, but my goodness, when did we become such a bunch of American wussies that we can't judge for ourselves and go, that offends me, I'm going to turn it off, right? So, or I'm not going to buy that book. Remember when, I guess they don't like capitalism, so they have to force everything on us, right? So there it is there. I hope you're not offended. I hope, your eyes haven't melted from your face. But speaking of melting from your face, the Grammys were this weekend, where basically a bunch of hoes and sluts got up on stage and danced lesbian dances and with a little tinge of hookerness and, of course, just a side of pornography. But this was cheered by everybody. So I'm going to show you some of this, and then we're going to just sort of comment on it. This is Cardi B doing Up and the WAP on the Grammys, and it's amazing. This is not offensive. I just want you to know right now. All right, here we go. Let's take a listen. It's a little jiggly. Is that not the worst dancing ever? Remember Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson just rolled over in his freaking grave. Nothing like fat girls that dance. Yeah. Ooh. I'm a hoe, don't you know? Got to go. Get me now. I don't know. This is awful. Look at that. Ugh. Somehow that's supposed to be attractive. Put this kitty right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top. I wanna ride. I do a giggle. I'm kinda wild. Look at my. Do you get the art? She looks like a bad, like a secondary actor in a big Star Trek movie from planet short and fat. Now watch this. This is unbelievable to me. This is okay. It's acceptable. It's Grammy right on TV. Right? There you go. There we go. Thank you, Jesus. And of course, there's the hoe bag where the dollars are flying around. So hopefully you guys are watching it. Okay, I'm going to shut this crap off. It's really that bad. So, well, let me just put that off. So there's Cardi B. And if you're listening to this and you can't see it, Cardi B is basically the short, fat chick that dances like a buffalo going towards the water. That's because she's just sort of short and fat. So she's not really that attractive. She cannot dance. Oh my gosh, I could not believe the dance I saw. It's like it's like watching a waiter take a bowl of Jello over to a table that's like 100 yards away. It's like, anyway, so that basically it's a bunch of chicks also just like rubbing and grinding, acting like they're having sex with guys and blah, blah, blah. So my point is this. So here we are with Dr. Seuss, that we can't even allow our children to see that, but there's mainstream TV right there. So do you think that's a consistent agenda? One that you can navigate and try to understand? You know, I mean, do they have the right to do that? Yeah. Did I watch a second of that on normal TV? Do I watch the Grammys anymore? No. Why? What is that? Anybody can do that. As ugly and as fat and as white as I am, and I cannot rap, she can't rap either. It's like, boogie, googie, googie, gonna, and I'm fat, and I'll put my vagina on you and make you slap. Boogie, boogie, boogie. Come on, man. And the dancing, did you see the wiggly arm thing? Oh my God, it was like milking a cow that was in the top floor of a warehouse or something. I don't know what was going on there, but anyway, we're going to have our top 5 Cardi jokes in a little bit, but I just thought, where's the consistency in the culture with that kind of stuff? It reminded me of like the 2 Live Crew back in the day. Anybody remember that? Like, but at least the 2 Live Crew, I don't even know if that made sense to me, but NWA made sense to me. They came out of the hood. They had a problem with cops and being beaten. And I mean, I get from their perspective, I can at least relate to that. I don't even understand that. I don't even know where the intellect, I'm sure, you could have a great intellectual conversation about philosophy, history, and other major things. But I mean, I guess that's how you get popular these days. The next thing you know, you'll be wearing a meat suit. Oh, I forgot that was Lady Gaga. And like, I think of like some of the stuff Lady Gaga did back in the day, and it was like, Lady Gaga should be insulted by that. I mean, Lady Gaga is she can sing anything. So she's a trained singer, but the fact that you'd have to do that to even get noticed is unbelievable to me. So for those of you who are, just good at your guitar, your instrument, your vocals, just stay the course, man. Like somehow, some way, we're going to bring music back to music. I mean, remember when there used to be rock and roll? And I know there's some crazy stuff in that stuff too, but that, my friend, is just garbage. It's like the idea, like when they called it art and got like, what was it, like $50 million grant or $50,000, $150,000 grant from the government. And it was like somebody urinating on a cross, and that was supposed to be art. Yeah, man, put that in the time box and bury it. Yeah. So anyway, there you go, man. We're offended by Dr. Seuss, but that is acceptable, and we're supposed to navigate those morals somehow because, well, the mob has the rule and the measuring rod right now, and we just got to live up to that, right? Well, speaking of, I'm just rolling today. What do I got next here? So speaking of lies, because that's a lie, right? That whole WAP thing stands for wet ass P word. That's what WAP stands for, in case you didn't know. Think of the culture behind WAP. Like, is that something where you want your daughter to live? Is that where you want your daughter to be? I don't know, man. Anyway, Speaking of lies, let me ask you a question. Did you think Donald Trump was a liar? Did you think he exaggerated a little bit here and there? Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, I think Donald Trump was a great president. Do I think he had a big mouth? Absolutely. His policies were great. Am I pissed at Donald Trump? I am pissed at Donald Trump because I feel like he lost the presidency that easily should have been his. I would have loved to seen another 4 years. So I was really thinking about if he could have just kept his big fat mouth shut, he would be president right now because of his policies and his handling in the Middle East, his handling with China, all those things. So those are the good things. The bad things is he's exaggerating. His Twitter account got annoying at the end. And, that whole thing about the stolen election, he just should have shut up. You know what I mean? But anyway, I guess my bigger point is I'm mad at Trump because I feel like it was his presidency to lose, and he lost it. He let us down by allowing them to steal it from us. And that's despite all the things that we think that might have happened around that election, okay? He just couldn't shut up to just stay somewhere in the middle where people could go, okay, let's give him another 4 years. And I know he got a lot of votes. Would I vote for him again? I would. But maybe that's a lesson he'll learn, or at least his family member will learn, or other politicians that are that popular, let's say, will learn. But do you think he was a liar? I mean, those are my opinions. They might not be all accurate, but I think I'm pretty accurate. Now, let me ask you another question. Now, we know that all politicians are full of crap, right? Do you think old moderate Joe Biden is a liar? I sort of do. Matter of fact, I think there's a lot. I don't know if you know this, but he walked around many years ago when he tried to run for president and he got booted out of there is because he lost or didn't get the nomination because he was lying left or right. He was telling people he had several degrees. He was telling people that he was a political science genius, all these different things. He stole a speech from, I think, a guy, I want to say Denmark, but I know it's from another country, or Britain. And he literally stole the speech almost word for word and tried to act like it was his. So I don't think this guy, he's a politician in the purest sense where he doesn't have his own ideas. For example, when Trump came on the scene, one of the biggest things he talked about was immigration. And let's face it, if we're looking at what's happening on the border right now, Trump was absolutely right. Now, the media spin it as some kind of hate or some kind of racist thing. But, I don't think it's racist to say there's a lot of people coming over our border that are not the best types of people. Some of them kill people. Some of them are into some horrible things, and they're using children. I mean, I'm not going to get into all that, but the media spins it for their political means, and they're doing that right now. But even right now, even the left mainstream media is starting to question what the crap is happening at the border. Now, so let me give you a statistic, and this statistic is 1 week old. Okay, so it could be worse, is why I'm telling you that. Under Trump, he had cut down illegal entry into our country 857 people a day. I think that's the number. It's 850 something, but we're going to call it I think it was 857. So only 857 people a day were coming across our borders illegal. He had locked it down. And so they tried to, tempt him. Test him, right? And he wasn't having any of it. So they stopped testing him. Right now, and this is a week-old stat, under Biden's new administration, which basically has an open border, there's no COVID checkups, there's nothing. There's, the kids in cages are happening again. Those cages were built under Obama, which Biden was a part of that. They tried to blame it on Trump, and now here it is with Biden again. But if you didn't know, over 6,000 people a day are coming in to our country just right through, and it's a crisis. It's so many people that can't handle it. So they're putting people and children and families in cages. All of this stuff is happening again, and the media's not really covering it. And Now Biden's saying, well, he never allowed this. This isn't because of his policy. So I just want to show you, this is sort of like a little clip that I got. I think I got this from the Michael Knowles show. And I think, yeah, this is the Michael Knowles show. I have another clip I want to show you. That's why I sort of paused. This is from the Michael Knowles show, and he's basically going to show you the lie that we are fed and we don't hear it. Okay, so if you've been sitting there watching ABC, MSNBC, CBS, or CNN, you've probably never seen the clips I'm going to show you right now. But I just wanted to show you that old Biden, well, this guy's a liar. Let's take a look.
The idea that Joe Biden said, come, they're there seeking asylum. First time ever we've told people they can't come to America. That ends. The cage is closed. The idea that Joe Biden said, come, we immediately surged to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come. The idea that Joe Biden said, come. And those who come seeking asylum, we should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
Do you have to say quite clearly, don't come?
Yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come. First time ever we've told people they can't come to America. Don't leave your town or city or community.
Wow. So there it is. There's old Joe Biden reneging on his words. And it's unbelievable that we've put a guy, I mean, like, Trump exaggerated and did some stupid things. We all can agree on that. But there's a guy, that's the same lie. In other words, like, you can't sit there and call Trump a liar and not call that guy a liar. He pulled the wool over our eyes, and they want to change the demographics of America, change the demographics of the voting rights, allow cities to become official or add states. They want to add senators. They want to do all this different stuff in order to keep the prevailing power in power. And so here we have the idea of open borders and that America is this place you come to live and be free and all this stuff, which is, there's some truth to that. But why is it that we can't do it by allowing a vetting process that allows people in based on the necessity of America rather than the necessity of their tragedy? And I get it, like, some people are coming from some horrible spots, but now because of his open border policy, which he campaigned on, which you heard over and over again in that clip, people are coming in the droves, and we don't know if they have COVID. And Biden, here's another lie. He's trying to tell us that his number one priority is COVID, right? And I'm going to get into this in a second. We are now a year into give me 15 days to stop the spread. And I'm going to show you a clip on that in a second. But Biden's, one of his top priorities, Jen Psaki keeps saying, is that to get through the crisis of COVID, which he ran on, saying that Trump didn't do anything, the lies of, like, there was no infrastructure for the shots that are coming in when he was in office, which is all bull crap. There was a million shots a day as Trump was leaving office. And then, like, in true political twisting of words, he comes in and says, well, in 100 days, we'll give 100 million shots. That's our goal. They were already projected to do that, and actually they were getting more and more shots as the weeks rolled on. So, I mean, it's just complete nonsense and crap. And we find this, if you care about the spreading of COVID, they're coming over in the border. Who's checking them? Do we have enough doctors, a system in place to even check that? So can you imagine when Texas or Arizona or whatever they're coming from start getting an outbreak of COVID again, which I think they would be happy for, because they'd love to shut down the economy again and get you and I more reliable on the government. Remember when we used to be a country when we didn't want a big government, where we didn't want the imposition of a bunch of rules, where we believed that you could make decisions for you and I could make decisions for me. And even though we might disagree about what those decisions are, we could still live in peace and unity. Remember that? Those days are gone, my friend, with the political correctness culture and the lies of an administration that really doesn't know what it's doing. I have no. Do you have any clue what the agenda of the Biden administration is? And is it something that you're feeling like they're just pushing radical policies on the American people, and we're just trying to get back to work? You know what I mean? Have you? It was Trump that wanted the $2,000 of the recovery payments that are happening right now for the stimulus, and it was Nancy Pelosi that held that up until Biden came in office. So the idea that this is like Biden saving us or even helping us wasn't really. The guy doesn't have any original thoughts. I literally think like when I played baseball. I played left field, and I used to lick my finger and stick it up in the wind to see which way it was blowing, so I knew how to track the ball if it was hit to me in the air. And this is what this guy does. He's just sticking his finger in the wind, and he just goes where the most radical people will follow him, because the most radical people are the most boisterous people. Now, does that mean there's not radical people on the right? Of course there is. But if we don't come back to the middle as a country, I don't know, what will it be for our children? So anyway, it's definitely going to be different because, think about, I was watching something yesterday, and this is why it matters. In California, this is exactly what was happening. Now think of the policy of immigration in California, which is going to be non-existent. But this is why it matters. A guy was showing his business. Okay, think of a street, and on one side of the street is an American guy born in a city in California, and he opens let's say a shoe store. Okay, and he's selling shoes, and he's being taxed heavily because of all the crazy policies. So, he's just paying taxes on the wazoo. An accident happens on the road and the police come. So they're dealing with the accident on the road. But on the other side of the road, let's say they do the accident and the police are there. On the other side of the road, across the street from the shoe store, is another shoe store. But this shoe store is owned by illegal immigrants. They don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to pay taxes on the building. They don't have to pay taxes on the shoe or on the cost or any of it. And therefore, they can take their shoes and they can lower the prices to make them where they're not even competitive with this very person that is supporting their business through their taxes and their way of life. You see what I'm saying? This is the issue that we're dealing with. It's not that we don't want colored people to come over here. That's ridiculous. Okay? What the issue really is that people are getting advantages that other people don't have off the sweat of the backs of other people, and it's a new form of enslavement. If you're slave to government taxes and you can't compete with those who are by the same government, don't care if these other people have taxes, that's not fair. That's not a fair economy. And the answer isn't to just make it all socialist where everybody's paying everything. The answer is, where everybody gets equal outcome and equal pay. The answer is to make it a capitalist society. You pay your taxes, you have competition, and you compete for the shoes. Maybe one store sells Nikes, the other store sells Doc Martens, but at least they're paying taxes to prevent accidents in the road because there's no potholes or there's no stoplight or anything like that because nobody pays taxes. So anyway, I know I left that out of the story, but you get my drift here. This is why that matters. And this is happening every day, and you don't hear about it because political agendas are for political power. So if it doesn't affect the power of a people, a political party, then they're not going to say a freaking word about it, are they? And that's exactly what is going on in America right now. So that's a huge story to me. That's happening over and over again in places like California, which is why everybody's fleeing that place. So think about that if you're on the wall of why people get upset about that. I don't think many conservatives, it's not that we don't want, we just want a white nationalist America. It's that they're stealing jobs, they're stealing opportunity from those who have been established here or for those who are actually paying taxes here. So I just think I get it. Now, this is my final thing. I got two things and I'm out of here. I know we're 35 minutes into this cast right here, right now. Did you know Dr. Fauci is not an elected official? He's somebody that has been appointed to a position, and Dr. Fauci has, I don't know what you think of this guy, so I think if you're on the left, this is my perception, that you probably love this guy. I know Biden last week in his address said, we need to listen to Dr. Fauci. He's the foremost authority in this area. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think this guy's been consistent? Do you think the consistency of information that has come out about COVID has been consistent? Do you even know right now what the guidelines are and why? Not just what they are, why? Have they used this COVID crisis as a way to not only gain power, but to gain an agenda over the American people? I'm going to say absolutely. They're in no hurry to open this economy. The teachers' unions show us that, right? And that's, of course, who voted for Biden, right? They're his master, if you will. So let me show you a little cut. This is cut by, if you haven't heard of Louder with Crowder on YouTube or Steven Crowder, this is from his show. And I want to say that up front because he put together, it's not only a great show and he's hilarious, he put together a great little clip here, and I think we should listen to this. So let's take a listen to this. This is the longest 15 days ever to slow the spread. 1 year later.
Well, what you're talking about is our 15 days to stop the spread initiative. If we can get America to all pitch in for the next 15 days, we can flatten the curve, which is a term that you've been hearing a lot, not overwhelm our healthcare systems.
That's a surge of cases, so you need to stretch it out.
Self-quarantine for 14 days.
Stay at home as much as possible.
Stay home.
Stay home.
People should not be walking around with masks. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. And the fundamentals are not rocket science. It's universal wearing of masks. Masks are very important.
For me, it's easy because I have a lot of masks.
This is okay. Just try to focus on the positive.
How do I look? Like a kind and thoughtful person?
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask all the time.
And if you don't, you are a selfish ass.
Growing number of confrontations over wearing masks.
She's the tearful mom who was booted from a plane after her 2-year-old daughter just would not wear a mask.
You put another layer on, it just makes common sense.
2 masks are indeed better than 1.
Double masking, as it's called.
A 3-layer mask could block up to 90%.
The thing that'll get us back is the vaccine.
No miracle is coming.
Our nation has achieved a medical miracle. We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months.
Once you're able to get the shot, you will still need to wear a mask.
Dosing a first dose without a second dose available, that's just not in the label.
We have to do a double dose, right?
How significant it is for Americans to receive both doses.
You have had your second vaccine shot.
We will issue further guidance on what you can and cannot do once fully vaccinated. If we do our part, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. That doesn't mean large events with lots of people together, but it does mean small groups.
So there it is, people. We're now looking to the government to tell us what to do. Remember when we used to be free? Remember when we could do? Now, obviously, when there's a pandemic, we need good information. But do you think that was good information? So when you see somebody who's a little skeptical about whatever's coming out of the government's mouth, when did we stop being skeptical? When did we rely on the government for all of it? Like, we are a capable people and a smart people. So now I'll talk of my own personal use. I hate wearing a mask, but I do wear a mask when I'm waiting on customers. And I do wear a mask walking into a restaurant, but I take it off immediately. And if I didn't have to wear one, I would not wear one. And by that meaning, like, if they didn't have, like, out of courtesy, I wear one if somebody's offended. But if they say, I don't care if you wear a mask, I'm taking my mask off. Now, as far as my church stuff goes, when it first started, we slowed our meetings down, but then we started limiting our meetings to only a small group of people. And we were just like, hey, if you're not feeling good, don't come here. If you have symptoms, don't come here. But if you're feeling good, you're welcome here. And so we never stopped. I'm just telling you, we never stopped meeting. And I can say, thank God I haven't been sick, and I know many people have. But now we recognize that it's only a very select few that are going to have life-threatening causes from this new COVID thing that we're going through, right? So having said that, I feel like there's a big imposition by the government on our liberties. And if you own a business, do not shut down. You don't have to listen to that. This is America. Get a lawyer and stay the freak open and protect what is yours. Because the government, I don't want the government to bail me out at every cost. Now, do I think I don't want the government to bail me out at every emergency that they deem an emergency. Excuse me, I got a burp. There it is. So, sorry, that was coming, man. And, you just can't stop it once it's coming. But anyway, so I do think because the government forced people to shut down, it should be responsible for the businesses that are closed. I feel terrible for those restaurants. I don't know if you've seen this. There was a lady that had a great restaurant in, I think it was California, and she was mandated by the government to close her doors. And then they changed the law and said, well, as long as you have outdoor dining with these specifications, you can remain open. So then she spent all of her savings to keep her business open, and they put in like plastic barriers between tables so people wouldn't be sneezing and breathing and spitting on each other and that kind of thing, right? And then the Governor Newsom, shut it down again. She said that wasn't good enough. You have to be shut down. So now she wasted her entire savings to try to save her business, right? So this lady is bawling on her, she's doing like a YouTube video. And then a day later, they gave a special exemption to a movie set that was going to shoot a movie right in front of her restaurant. And they had none of those things happening. And so here's this restaurant owner that loses her business that has been there for 20 years. And the government is shutting her down. And then on the other hand, it gave a special exemption to a movie shoot from Hollywood. Can you believe that? So what am I saying? I'm saying, like, we don't get our rights from government. We get our rights from God. And this tends to be a big issue in our culture, because if you don't believe in God, then all you have is the mob, which is what's going on right now. And let me say this, and I'll end with, I'm going to end with my Cardi B jokes. But I wanted to get into this, but I'm running a little later than I thought I would. But, grace is I want you to think about the word grace, and what comes with grace is the idea of forgiveness, that we understand that we are a broken people, we're not a perfect people, and we have grace to be forgiven by God. But why that's so important is God sets the tone for how we treat each other. We have grace towards each other. So when you get into critical race theory and intersectionality and this idea of white privilege and all, all this stuff, without getting in the historical reality of their BS history, if we don't have grace, then there is no hope for resolve or healing in the future. In other words, if we think about like your life about not forgiving, you know what I mean? Does that ever turn out good for you? Now, you can forgive and not go back into a relationship with somebody that's awful to you. But I'm just thinking, I know I sort of switched gears here, but when we live in a culture that has no grace, that just tells you that what they're teaching our kids is godless. And I'm talking about the one true God, Jesus Christ, who gives us grace with no conditions. It's an unconditional grace. In other words, he's offered you grace and me grace, not based on what we did or didn't do, but based on what he did. And that grace is for us to receive. But if we're too proud to receive it, then you're in your own hell that you asked for. So it's not that God doesn't want to give you eternal life. It's that you don't want it, so you refuse it. And that's the real true story of the Bible. But how that plays out in our world, sincerely, the churches have failed showing the world this. They just add more rules to God's grace. However, without grace, we're doomed. We are doomed. That's why the forefathers said, if we're not a religious people, our democracy, our republic will not stand. And I think that's what we're seeing during these times. 15 days it was supposed to take to slow the spread, and it's been over a year now, and there is no reasons our kids can't play together, that families can't eat together, and we can't go to church together, and we can't play at a baseball game that's coming up this summer, soccer, whatever it is. And we have to allow each other grace and stop holding our past. If you hold the past in the now, there's no future to be had, because there's no reconciliation that can ever be made. All right, last but least, I could go on for that forever. So anyway, let's go to my top 5 Cardi B jokes. You ready? Number 5. Here it is. My friend died when she saw a wild ox wearing a knitted jumper. It was called a cardiac arrest. Yak, get it? Cardiac, yak. Okay, I think you got it. Number 4, Cardi B and Bill Crosby walk into a bar. I don't remember the rest. Come on, he slip you a little roofies and take advantage of you there. Another great American. Here it is. Anyway, what's the difference between Cardi B and an elf? That's right. An elf can rap, W-R-A-P. An elf can rap, yeah. I think the elf is a better rapper than old Cardi B. Look at that. Nasty hoe. Nasty hoe. All right, here we go. Number 4. Cardi B just filed for divorce from her husband for cheating on her with her thinner twin sister, Cardi O. Cardi O. Hey-o! Hey-o! Cardi O. Anyway, and here's my favorite. If you got kids in the car, you might want to shut this one off. Just saying, I'm going to tell the joke now. So here we go. Everyone who defended Trump for saying grab them by the P word, remember that, is offended by Cardi B's song WAP. I guess the only difference is hers is wet. Hey, oh my God, that's brutally wrong. But you know what I'm saying? Like, think about that, how offended they were by Trump's grab them by the whatever, and like, this is okay. It's on daytime TV. All right, I'm out of here, man. I know Steve will be back next week. The funeral's happening in the next couple days here, so be praying for his family. If our jokes offended you, it's not our intention. We're just here to make you laugh. Think about some of the things we said, and we'll be back with TalkdaTalk with the full Steve and our douche of the week, hero of the week, our 10-second scream, top stories of the week. Those are all coming back next week. I want to say thank you for sticking with us this week and last week through this crisis that we're having, and pray for Steve's family. And we are out here. I will see you on the flip side. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. I'm out of here. See you guys later. Bye-bye.